There are two types of confidence we can build. The first type is what I call little confidence. This is where you feel confident, but only when you're in your comfort zone, doing things that you're pretty good at. The second type of confidence is what I call big confidence. This is where you feel confident in any situation, even if you've never done it before and even if it's messy. In today's episode, I'm teaching you how to build big confidence so you can step into bigger roles and feel unstoppably powerful as you reach your full potential as a leader.
Welcome to The Art of Speaking Up, a podcast that helps professional women access the limitless potential that lies within them. I'm your host, Jessica Guzik, and my mission is to help you find that spark inside you that has the power to transform your career in ways you may not have thought possible. I'm so excited that you're here. And now, on to the show.
Welcome to the podcast. I am so excited for today's topic. We are talking about self-confidence, one of my absolute favorite things to talk about on the show and to coach on when I'm with my clients. Today's episode is going to help you quite a bit if you have experienced this emotional volatility in your confidence building journey. If you are working on your self-confidence, trying to feel stronger inside, just wanting to feel like more of a badass about who you are. But if along that journey, you've experienced a lot of ups and downs and maybe moments where the emotional swings feel really intense, maybe you achieve a win one day and the next day something difficult happens and all of a sudden you feel like you've regressed and gone backwards. If your experience of building confidence feels like it's lacking in the stability that you want, and it feels like it has quite a bit of ups and downs, and maybe it feels even a little bit out of control and chaotic, this is the episode for you. In today's episode, I'm diving really deep into why this happens. And I'm also walking you through the roadmap or the path ahead for how to get out of that up and down experience and cultivate a confidence within yourself that is more stable, more enduring, and more reliable. This journey of going from confidence that feels like very fleeting and volatile and unreliable and stressful and unpredictable to cultivating a confidence that stays with you and feels like you can count on it to be there when you need it. This is the exact inner journey and inner transformation that I work on with my clients. Like, this is the exact thing that I love coaching on and that I'm really good at coaching on, because this has really been my growth journey in so many ways, which I've talked about in other episodes. But that's what I'm talking about today. I'm helping you understand that process of cultivating confidence that is stable. So in today's episode, to teach you this idea and to really help you understand this, I'm going to be teaching you the difference between what I call little confidence and big confidence. I'm going to explain what each of those things are. I'm going to help you understand the key differences between little confidence and big confidence. And I'm going to help you understand how to move from building little confidence to building big confidence. And when I say big confidence, that's the phrase I use to refer to confidence that is lasting and enduring and that isn't super fleeting. Before I tell you all about little confidence, a quick hello if you're new to the Art of Speaking Up podcast. I'm so happy you're here. And I'm Jess. I'm the creator of this show. And what I would most want you to know is that everything that I talk about here is really inspired by my own personal experiences of having had a corporate career in the 9-to-5 world. I worked at McKinsey & Company. I was a corporate strategist. And while I achieved big success in my corporate career prior to becoming a full-time coach and podcaster, I struggled so much with self-confidence at the beginning of my career. And because of that, I just became really passionate about this idea of helping women who have like tons of potential inside, but who really struggle to feel confident internally. I just became so passionate about helping those types of women find genuine confidence so that they could move into leadership roles. That's really the mission of this show. And confidence is at the center of everything. The more solid you feel inside and the stronger relationship you have with yourself, the more you will be able to accomplish in your career. And I actually love that this is true because it's such a win-win, because building confidence not only helps you achieve your professional goals, but it helps you feel good. It gives you a better quality of life, a better experience of all of the elements of your life, which is why I love helping you build it, because it makes everything better. So I'm going to start by defining little confidence and what I mean by this, and then we'll go deeper. So what is little confidence? So when I use the phrase little confidence, this is what I see most people working on building when they are at the start of their self-improvement or confidence building journey. When most people are typically starting out, they might not be thinking in their heads, oh, I want to build little confidence. That's not what people are thinking. People are usually just thinking, I want to build confidence. So they don't realize that the thing that they're building is actually little confidence, and it's different than big, lasting, enduring confidence, but it is typically the starting point. Now, little confidence typically starts with a desire to feel better inside, to feel stronger inside. And typically, when you're building little confidence, the thought process you're having is, okay, I want to feel good. I want to perform really well and accumulate wins and successes. And I want to feel confident inside. Those are the things that I want. And I want my successes to make my confidence grow. And I want my confidence to help me achieve more successes. And that is the thing that I want to build. So this is the typical thought process of someone who's at the beginning of their journey and someone who is building what I call little confidence. Now, by the way, there's nothing wrong with little confidence. It's actually quite useful, and I'm going to talk about that later in the episode. But the reason that little confidence is called little confidence, and also the reason why people get stuck and feel stuck when they're in this phase of building little confidence, is because while little confidence includes all of these wonderful things like feeling good and achieving wins and creating success, little confidence is missing certain ingredients. There are certain ingredients that when you're building little confidence, these ingredients aren't even on your radar. You're not thinking of them as being relevant to the confidence building process. You're just focused on feeling good and accumulating wins. And you're missing some things that will help you build lasting confidence. So the things that are missing from little confidence and the things that people typically aren't focused on at the beginning of their confidence building journey is their relationship and capacity for emotional discomfort, failure, and uncertainty. So typically, when people are building confidence at first, they're not thinking to themselves, I want to achieve a lot of failure, and I want things to feel really uncertain, and I want to be really, really uncomfortable. In fact, a lot of times they're thinking the opposite. They're thinking, I want to be so confident that I never fail. I want to be so confident that I'm never uncertain. It's never uncomfortable. So little confidence excludes all of these messy, unappealing things like failure and discomfort and uncertainty. Now, what I want to do is I want to help you understand why little confidence is inherently limiting and can lead you to feel really stuck. Because the thing is, little confidence can be seductive and tantalizing. It's seductive and tantalizing to think, oh, I just want to feel good and achieve wins, and that's going to be my goal. I don't want emotional discomfort. I don't want to experience failure and uncertainty. I kind of like this idea of little confidence. Like, this sounds great. I just achieve wins and I feel good and life is dandy. So I want to explain to you why life isn't always dandy when we're building little confidence, because I want to push you to dream bigger for yourself and to actually pursue big confidence. So to help you understand this, I'm going to share a really simple analogy of our favorite fictional person, Amy. I like to use Amy for my analogies. Poor Amy, she's always doing the quote unquote wrong thing. but it's helpful for learning purposes. So I want you to imagine that Amy plays chess, and her goal is to just be a really confident chess player. And so Amy starts to learn chess, and she starts to get better at it, and she starts to play in local chess competitions. And she's good enough at chess that whenever she shows up and plays at a local chess competition, she wins, always. She's always the best one in the room. She always sits down at the game knowing that she's probably going to win. She has this feeling that she's going to succeed. She knows she's going to succeed. She feels in control. She feels powerful. And she frequently plays in these local chess tournaments. Now, Amy experiences confidence because she feels good about her chess play. She experiences victories over and over, and that reinforces her feeling good. But what happens is after the months go by and years go by, and Amy is just over and over playing in these local tournaments in the same old high school gym or at the local library. And after a while, she starts to experience a feeling of stuckness, a feeling of almost feeling like agitated or like, something's stuck here. Something's not feeling good. And it's because even though she feels really confident about her chess playing skills, she is capping herself and only playing in this situation where she knows she can win and where the competition isn't that difficult for her. So yes, on the one hand, she feels super, super confident in her abilities, but on the other hand, she's completely capping herself and completely stuck. And after a while, things are going to not feel good anymore if she's someone who wants to grow and if she's someone who wants a deeper confidence around her chess playing skills. So what Amy is doing is Amy is building little confidence. She's putting herself in situations where she knows that she can perform, she knows that she can be the winner, and as a result, she feels a certain level of confidence inside. However, that confidence feels incomplete. It feels like there's something missing, and it's because in the back of her mind, Amy knows there are bigger, harder chess competitions out there, and she's not putting herself in those rooms or in those settings. So while yes, she might feel super, super, super duper confident in her local chess competition that she's done 317 times, that confidence that she feels is little. It's little because it's not enough to get her to a bigger room with harder players and to help her get through that because she's kept herself in this situation where there's no risk of failure, there's no risk of discomfort, there's not a lot of uncertainty. Now, when we're building little confidence and we're accumulating wins and we're like really just in our full comfort zone while accumulating those wins, like Amy, we're going to build up confidence, but there's also going to be an experience of stuckness because the confidence that we're building is limited. Just like Amy's confidence will go away, it will disappear if she plays at a national level or a global chess tournament. Similarly, when we're building little confidence and we're not learning to be in situations where we experience discomfort or failure, what happens is as soon as we're pushed out of our happy comfort zone bubble, that little confidence that we were building evaporates. And this is what can create the experience of emotional volatility and emotional ups and downs. We spend so much time in our comfort zone and in our bubble that as soon as that gets removed for whatever reason, all of a sudden that feels like a really intense, really challenging experience. And that can be really confusing because you might be thinking, oh my gosh, I've been building all this confidence. I've been accumulating wins and feeling better about myself. And all of a sudden I feel horrible because this hard thing happened. And it's akin to Amy having an experience of, I've been winning all these local chess competitions. I've been getting so good at chess. I'm so amazing. And then all of a sudden I was thrust into a national chess competition. Where's my confidence? Where did it go? And the answer to that question is the confidence that you were building is little confidence. It'll carry you through a local tournament, but it won't take you beyond that. That's why you feel stuck a lot of the times because you know there's like this potential outside of you that you're not even reaching. And also, that's why when you are occasionally thrust into a more challenging situation outside your comfort zone, it feels so volatile, it feels so intense because you've been stuck in little confidence land, building little confidence that only carries you through a very specific subset of situations. So the name of the game is to break out of little confidence and move into the next phase of confidence building, which is big confidence. So what I want to talk about next is how we get out of little confidence and start building bigger confidence so that we can handle bigger things and so that our confidence can be more enduring and lasting even when we are outside of our comfort zone. I'm going to take a quick break, and then when I get back, we're going to dive deep into that. If you want to get so good at communicating that you become super impressive to your boss and leaders at your company, and if you want your voice to be fueled by authentic self-confidence, then I want to invite you to come work with me inside my signature program, the Art of Speaking Up Academy. In the Art of Speaking Up Academy, you'll follow my unique curriculum where I help you build authentic confidence from the inside out and teach you how to speak with the sophistication of a true leader. To find out when the next cohort is enrolling and to get access to exclusive program bonuses, add yourself to the waitlist by clicking the link in the show notes or going to jessguzikcoaching.com/academy. And now let's dive back into the episode. Okay, so to quickly recap, I've shared with you so far that little confidence is a confidence that we accumulate when we're achieving little wins in our comfort zone, but we're not necessarily exposing ourselves to things that are uncomfortable, and we're not really taking enough risk that we might experience failure. So we are building confidence, but it's this more fragile confidence that isn't going to easily come with us to bigger, more difficult situations. And I use this idea of Amy, the chess player, being able to crush it at local chess competitions, but not having the confidence or stamina to crush it at a national or global chess competition. Now, what usually leads people to finally let go of little confidence and realize that they want something bigger is they start to experience the problems that come with little confidence. Because remember, I said in the beginning of this episode, little confidence is tempting and tantalizing. Who doesn't want to build confidence that feels good all the time and has you always winning and always feeling good about yourself and never having a road bump or an obstacle? That would be amazing. We all want that. So we typically all start out trying to build that because it sounds good, but eventually we start to come up against certain obstacles that make us realize, oh, this little confidence isn't the full picture. This little confidence isn't working. I'm getting stuck. I'm encountering issues. I have to do something different. And what I see most often when people are at this place is they experience a lot of uncertainty and confusion about why this is happening, why they're feeling like they're not moving in the right direction, why they're feeling a sense of stuckness despite making some progress, and why they are experiencing this emotional volatility. And if you relate to that, I would just want to say that those feelings are all normal. The experiences you're having are all normal. No one teaches us about the psychological growth process. It's not something that we learn about in school or that is really a big part of a broader cultural conversation. So it makes sense that if we're building confidence, we're going to get off on this road to building little confidence because that feels like what we should be doing. And it also makes sense that we're going to encounter some obstacles and limitations. And it also makes sense that it's then going to feel really confusing because you have this feeling of, I've been working on my personal growth. Why the heck am I still stuck? Why is this still feeling so hard? So this is normal. And typically when you get to this point, the decision that you now get to make is, oh, I've been building little confidence. Do I want to transition to now building big confidence? So this would be similar to Amy playing her, let's say, 400th local chess tournament and winning as usual and coming out just feeling exhausted and not feeling the pride that she used to feel years and years ago when she would first win those competitions, and her asking herself, do I want to try something different because I'm feeling this sense of stuckness and this isn't feeling good in the way that it used to? Now, I personally think building big confidence is one of the best things you can do for yourself in your life because it helps you feel stronger and more stable and more capable as a human. And it takes that little confidence that you've been building and it makes it more resilient and more enduring. So let me walk you through what big confidence is and help you understand the transition from little confidence to big confidence. So big confidence does include those initial core components of little confidence. So it does include feeling good inside, accumulating wins, and having those wins make you feel stronger about yourself, which then helps you accumulate more wins. And then you're in this upward positive spiral of feeling more confident and accumulating more wins. However, building big confidence also includes a subset of components and activities that is not part of building little confidence. And those things are, number one, having a willingness or an appetite for failure. Number two, having a larger capacity to experience discomfort. And number three, having the ability to tolerate greater amounts of uncertainty. It's not only those three things. It's those three things in addition to feeling good about yourself and accumulating wins. So it's feeling good about yourself, accumulating wins, and also having this expanded capacity for failure, discomfort, and uncertainty. And one of the reasons that building confidence can be so challenging, and one of the reasons people get stuck and they go in circles, is because we don't typically think about feeling good and accumulating wins as going together with failure, discomfort, and uncertainty. Our brains really like to think in these simple black and white, this or that type of structures. So when we think about confidence, our brain thinks confidence equals good. All things associated with confidence must be good. Confidence is associated with good things like feeling good and performing really, really well. That is what confidence is. But now if we introduce our brain to this gray area where we say confidence has some things that are good and some things that are quote unquote bad. Confidence includes good things like feeling good and achieving wins. And confidence includes quote unquote bad things like expanded capacity for discomfort. Our brain short circuits and shuts down. And I think what's even more interesting about this is a lot of the self-help industry reinforces little confidence. So we consume self-help, we learn about confidence, and there's a lot of messages out there that say you should be feeling good, you should be accumulating wins, because that's easier to sell to people. It's easier to sell people the vision of little confidence, and it's easier to sell people this idea of like you're going to feel good, you're going to accumulate wins. There's nothing hard in there. It's all going to be perfect. That's easier to sell to people than you're going to feel good and you're going to accumulate wins and your capacity for discomfort is going to expand. That's not as appealing to people. That's not as much like offering people the candy or the fast food that they want by saying like, yeah, it's just going to be perfect. Like you're just going to feel good and have wins and it'll be the most perfect thing ever. And so I think what happens is then when we start to experience some of those quote unquote bad things like discomfort, failure, feeling bad about ourselves inside, we think we're doing something wrong and something's wrong with us because the self-help world is painting this overly rosy picture of what confidence is. And we don't realize that that's just little confidence, not big confidence. So little confidence is so easy to get sucked into for so many reasons. It's more appealing. The self-help industry is reinforcing it. It's easier for our brains to understand because it's this very black and white, like confidence is a good thing and I always feel good and everything about it is good. But the true confidence, big confidence, it's not this black and white thing. There's shades of gray. It's nuanced. And while it includes these amazing components like feeling good about yourself and achieving wins, there is also an element of building true, lasting, big confidence that includes us facing discomfort that we might be avoiding, or experiencing failure or judgment by others or rejection or really big, uncomfortable obstacles. And while those things can feel really challenging, and while they might not be pleasurable, those things actually lead to a form of confidence that is not only more lasting, but much more stable in the long run. This is really important. Little confidence carries with it the illusion of stability. It carries the illusion of stability because when we're building little confidence, we don't experience lots of failures and obstacles because we're not doing things that are uncomfortable, right? When Amy's playing the local chess tournaments, not a lot is going to happen there that's going to feel really difficult for her. The problem is, though, in that experience, she's not building any sort of muscle to handle challenges because she's shielding herself from those challenges. She's insulating herself from them. So what happens is when something hard happens in her life, whether it's chess related or related to something completely different, because she's put all her eggs in this basket of, I'm just going to do the comfortable, easy things, it's like her resilience muscle has atrophied. And all of a sudden, if an obstacle comes up, it's going to feel incredibly overwhelming and unstable. So the problem with little confidence is that it has this illusion of stability when we're able to perfectly control our circumstances and have everything the way we want and set it up so that we can always, quote unquote, win. However, because we live in a messy, unpredictable world where we don't always control what happens to us, we'll inevitably be thrust into more difficult situations, and we won't be prepared for those situations because we've been building little confidence that can't endure those more difficult situations. So we feel more unstable, even though building little confidence is a form of seeking and creating stability. So the irony of little confidence is that it doesn't work. It doesn't give us the stability that we want, because maybe Amy will play local chess competitions her entire life, but then maybe someone really good is just dropping into her town. They're a chess pro and they're there for the week, and it's unusual to have someone that good in a local chess competition. And they come into the room and Amy is so afraid, so scared, so intimidated because she has no experience outside of this limited area that she can't even bring her best to that situation because she's so intimidated just by the idea of this person. So little confidence has a limit to its usefulness. And this is why big confidence is so much more valuable, because when we build big confidence, when we have the ability to handle greater uncertainty and obstacles and failure, then when life throws us a curveball, we are more practiced at responding to that curveball because we have been building the big confidence required for it. So ironically, we end up feeling more stable when those things come up. So on the surface, little confidence looks like it's protecting you because you always feel good and it's easy and it's doable, but it creates instability because it doesn't equip you for the inevitable challenges that life and your career are going to throw at you. And when those challenges come up, that's when the emotional roller coaster is going to hit. And that's why it can feel so confusing of, oh my gosh, I've been building confidence. Why is this still so hard? Why am I still freaking out about this? It's because there's a whole other element to the confidence building process, which is building out your emotional fortitude, building out that resilience that takes your confidence from little confidence to big confidence. And I feel really strongly about this because building big confidence is an inherently more vulnerable thing. It means you're going to be experiencing failures and coming face to face with your own insecurities. And I think what happens a lot of times, and I experienced this a lot when I was in corporate, especially in women's empowerment spaces, is because it's so terrifying for people to talk about this and for people to talk about their vulnerabilities and their intense emotions. Because those things are so scary to talk about openly, a lot of times the women's empowerment conversation in corporate becomes this conversation solely around little confidence. and the conversations all around like the wins and everything that went well and everyone's so perfect and like, look at this perfect person and how much they've accomplished. And even when people talk about failure, like they talk about it in this perfectly packaged way where it doesn't even feel real. And so then what happens is when you have these inevitable human experiences of feeling emotionally volatile, feeling bad about yourself, feeling so horrible because there was a big failure that you just encountered, you feel alone in it. You think something is wrong with you. And it's not that something is wrong with you. Something is wrong with the broader conversation about confidence, about what it means to build confidence and get stronger. So that's a lot of context that I want to share on that I hope is really helpful for you. And I want to go deeper and I want to talk about the process of building big confidence because I'm hoping at this point you can see why it's worth it to take that scary leap away from little confidence and towards big confidence. So let's go back to the analogy of Amy. I want you to imagine that Amy has a couple wake-up calls that make her realize that she wants to build big confidence. Number one, she is getting bored and feeling agitated and stuck, and she realizes that she doesn't want to keep going in these same circles her entire life. Number two, she has a sense of unfulfilled potential. She has a curiosity. She's wondering what would happen if I tried to play with the big people, the big guns in the chess field. Like, what would I be capable of? And she has no idea, and she suspects she's capable of more, and she wants to satiate that curiosity. And then to top it all off, she has that scary experience I told you about where a pro chess player comes to her local competition, and it's so rattling for her that she realizes, oh my gosh, I've been keeping myself in this comfortable bubble. I have to get out of this bubble. I don't want to completely lose myself and not be able to handle it when a real pro shows up. I need to get out there. I want to grow. I want to find out what I'm made of. I want to be able to handle difficult chess opponents, and I want to break out of this limited local game that I keep finding myself stuck in. And so Amy says, you know what? I'm going to sign up for nationals. I'm going to start going to nationals and playing at nationals. And we all usually have some sort of Amy moment in our growth journey as well. We get to a point where we feel like we're stuck. We feel like we're stagnating. We also feel this sense of curiosity, like there's this untapped potential in us that we want to understand more deeply. And then also what typically happens is we have these challenging experiences that really rattle us and make us realize that there must be more to the confidence building process that we're not engaging in because we're still running into these obstacles that feel really, really overwhelming. And so like Amy, we decide, okay, I'm ready for the next thing. I'm ready to move from little confidence to big confidence. Now, what's so important for me to share with you is that typically the moment we make that decision and we take our first step out into our journey of building big confidence, the first thing our brain does is it says, I don't like this. What are you doing? This is terrifying. Please go back to the way that you were doing things before. So if we look at the Amy analogy, it's really easy to understand this. I want you to imagine Amy signs up for the national chess competition. She gets on a plane. She flies to the competition site. And as she walks into the venue and she sees way more people, much nicer chess sets, higher level of competition, all of a sudden her stomach drops and she feels so terrified. And her brain starts thinking about how comfortable those local competitions are and how she doesn't have to feel any of these scary feelings and how she knows she's going to win the local competitions and she has no idea what's going to happen at this national competition and people look like they're a lot better than she is. In that moment, she's going to have the urge to bolt, to turn around, to go back to what she knows and go back to what feels good. And a lot of times in that moment, our brain lies to us about all the things we didn't like about little confidence. So in that moment, Amy's brain is going to minimize the stuckness that she felt and the potential that she wanted to fulfill and the resilience that she wanted to build. Her brain is going to forget all of those things and just think about how good it felt and how comfortable it was and how certain she felt that she was going to win. And this is a critical fork in the road on many of our professional growth journeys where we can either go back to what we knew and what was comfortable, or we can bravely step forward. And what's so important for me to point out is that typically in this situation, stepping forward feels worse than going back. Not permanently, not over the long term, but in the moment. In the moment for Amy, sitting down for this scary national chess competition will feel worse than her turning around and being like, I'm playing in the local one instead. I'm going home. In that moment, she'll get the instant gratification of, I don't have to feel the pressure of this. I don't have to experience the uncertainty. I don't have to lose. I've never lost before. I will win if I do the local competition. She gets to avoid all the hard stuff and do all the easy stuff, but remember, it's going to put her back in that place of stuckness. So it's just so key to know that we get to these points where breaking through is going to look like us making a hard decision in the moment. And there might be an element of it that feels bad to step forward and build the big confidence. And we have to be able to have the wisdom within us to ask ourselves, does this feel bad and scary because it's genuinely the wrong thing for me? Or does this feel bad and scary because it's new and I don't have as much experience and I don't know exactly what to expect? And if we slow down and give ourselves time to think that through, we can often avoid the knee-jerk urge to just give up on our dreams because it feels uncomfortable in the moment. So now I want to get to the good stuff that happens when we move forward to build the big confidence. So I want you to imagine that Amy pushes through that feeling of dread and fear, and she enters into the national chess competition and she goes through with that experience. Even if she doesn't win, even if she's out of the tournament faster than she's ever been before, if she shows up and she finishes what she came there to do, not winning, but to do it, just to show up for it. If she does that and crosses that finish line, what I want to ask you is, who do you think has bigger confidence? Is it the version of Amy that turned around and went home as soon as she saw how intimidating the national chess competition was? Or is it the version of Amy who showed up and played in the competition and maybe even lost for the very first time? Which version of Amy do you think is building bigger confidence? My answer, for sure, the version of Amy that stayed at that tournament. And I hope this can help you so clearly see the difference between little confidence and big confidence. When Amy plays that tournament, and not just once, but when she continues to challenge herself and she continues to pursue big confidence by playing on a national level rather than a local level, so many things are going to happen that are going to all result in her expanding the confidence that she has. Number one, her chess is going to get better. She will become a better chess player because she is playing with better people. She will be forced to improve her strategy, to find her mistakes, to figure out where she's going wrong, to fix those things. That alone is going to make her a more confident chess player. Similarly, if you put yourself in more difficult situations, you will get better. Maybe not at chess, unless you're a professional chess player, but at whatever it is your job is, you will get better when you step outside your comfort zone and take on the harder things and say yes to the scary roles. Let's look at what else happens when you build big confidence. So when Amy does those national chess competitions, she's going to develop a sense of pride, and her identity is going to change in ways that it wouldn't change if she only played those easy local tournaments, because she's watching herself do this hard thing. As she watches herself do that, she thinks of herself differently. Instead of thinking of herself as someone who just does local chess competitions, she's like, whoa, I'm someone that does national chess competitions. I'm kind of a badass. And the same thing is true for you. When you challenge yourself, you do things that are a bit harder, a bit scarier than what you've done before. You watch yourself do those, and by definition, the way you understand yourself changes. You're no longer the person only doing the easy, comfortable stuff. You're the person showing up for the bigger thing. You're the person raising your hand for the thing that everyone else is afraid to raise their hand for. And it could literally be raising your hand for a promotion or a project, but it could also be figuratively, quote unquote, raising your hand by being the only person in the room who is willing to ask the quote unquote obvious or stupid question. So building big confidence looks like saying yes to the scary thing. But that scary thing could be a role, it could be a project, or it could be an action that you've never taken before, but that you suspect you are capable of taking. Now, there's more that happens, though, when you build big confidence. So when Amy keeps doing these national chess competitions, she's going to develop a broader, richer experience. Not only is she getting better at chess, but she's being exposed to things that she's never been exposed to. And here's the most important way that Amy is going to change by doing this. She's going to become more emotionally resilient. Because what's going to happen is, number one, instead of her winning all the time, she's going to start losing. And that's actually good for her confidence building process. I'm going to talk more about why in a minute. But not only is she going to start losing, she's going to start having more challenging experiences. She's going to have more of these opponents that really intimidate her, feel really scary to be sitting across the chessboard from. And as she has experiences of failure and playing with harder, scarier opponents, she's going to become more practiced in responding to loss, in processing the failure, in not letting the intimidating opponent get in the way of her showing up strong and her believing in herself. And I think this is something that we really underestimate in the confidence building process. We underestimate how much an experience of struggle, obstacle, failure, adversity will help us strengthen our confidence. We tend to think the opposite. We think if I lose or something bad happens or something hard happens, I've failed and I'm regressing in my confidence building journey. It's the exact opposite. I want you to think about it. Where's Amy going to be after 10 national competitions, after 30 chess games with opponents who really intimidate her? Where's she going to be after those versus if she hadn't done those at all? We need those moments of struggle and failure and adversity, number one, to develop the muscle of bouncing back, which makes us feel so unstoppable and confident. But number two, so that we can shift our identity and learn to see ourselves as someone who does hard things. When you see yourself as someone who does hard things, your confidence grows. This is why it's called big confidence, because big confidence means I'm not just confident because I get it perfect all the time and I just do easy things that I can do perfectly. I'm confident because I'm not afraid to not get it perfect. I'm not afraid to do something that might be messy. I am confident enough and strong enough and resilient enough to handle those things too. And me knowing that about myself makes me feel way more confident about myself than I felt during the days when I was hiding and building little confidence and just doing the easy, obvious things. So while building big confidence is inherently more challenging than building little confidence, because you're taking risks, you're putting yourself in situations that feel challenging and scary. While that is true, the growth that you experience is much richer, much more enduring, and much more valuable. And here's what is so powerful about this, like what gives me chills. After a while of playing these national competitions, Amy might struggle and lose, and it might feel really hard and bad at times. But when she has her first national win, what she feels from that experience is going to be so much deeper than what she felt winning the local tournaments. The local tournament wins aren't going to be able to hold a candle to the national wins because Amy knows what went into it. She knows the growth that had to happen to get her there. So the beautiful thing about big confidence is even though we struggle along the way to build it, that struggle not only makes us stronger and actually enforces our confidence, but that struggle also enables us to feel a deeper sense of pride when we finally get past a hurdle that we've been struggling with for a while. It is the struggle that gives us the feeling of pride and confidence from overcoming it. There's no way that Amy could feel that deep confidence that she'll feel when she wins her first national tournament at the same level if she's just doing local tournaments. And literally the reason is because of the struggle. It is the adversity. It is the obstacle that allows the win that we achieve to house itself within our psyche in a beautiful and powerful way. And when struggles and obstacles come up, we're usually not thinking about that. When struggles and obstacles come up, we usually get really mad at ourselves and we think we're doing it wrong and we must have done something to cause this. And a beautiful reframe that I would want to offer you is that every struggle that comes up is a building block for a future win that is going to feel better than any win that you've accomplished in the past. Because remember, when you get over the obstacle and the obstacle is behind you, you're going to feel a deeper confidence and a deeper sense of pride because of the obstacle. And if we can remember that fact in the moment that the obstacle comes up, and instead of us saying this is horrible and I'm horrible and I can't handle this, if instead we can say, imagine how I will feel when I am past this, then we find a fuel inside that helps us get past it faster. So all of this that I'm sharing with you today is to, number one, normalize obstacle and struggle and failure. But also, I want to give you the courage and the motivation to let go of little confidence and demand something bigger for yourself. Because the illusion of I'll always get it right and I'll always feel good and I'll never fail, the illusion that little confidence offers us, that it will always be easy and we'll feel good all the time, that's actually not real. There's no version of life where we can keep ourselves in a bubble and avoid hard, difficult things. So we might as well embrace that as part of the process and see the value in it and understand that a confidence that is built as a result of experiencing bad feelings and discomfort and uncertainty and adversity and failure is a more valuable, enduring, and stable confidence than the confidence that we would build if we avoided those things. No matter what we do, those things will happen. There is no world or path forward where we don't fail or we don't experience adversity. It's going to happen. So we might as well choose to build a form of confidence that's going to help us get good at navigating it. And the knowing that we can navigate hard things, that we've done hard things, and that we don't have to avoid hard things is what creates that feeling of stability, because we don't have to try to control the world around us so much. Whatever happens, we will show up, we will handle it. So I want to leave you with one simple takeaway from today's episode, and that is, I want you to imagine yourself as Amy, and I want you to think about what are the things in my life and in my career that represent the local chess tournaments, and what are the things in my life and my career that represent the national chess tournaments, the things that are harder and scarier, but that will help me build the big confidence. And I want you to make a choice and ask yourself, which path do I want and why? And if you choose big confidence, and you choose to embrace and move towards the things that represent those national chess competitions, I want you to ask yourself why. Why is it worth it? And be so clear on that answer. Because when you are clear on that answer, that is what you're going to remind yourself when the obstacle comes up and when your brain is telling you to give up and stop taking up space and stop being such a ridiculous dreamer. In those instances, you're going to interrupt those negative limiting thoughts and say, no, I'm choosing this because it matters to me. I'm choosing this because I have deep reasons for wanting to pursue this path. Now, I have one last thing to share, which is I feel like I really trash talked little confidence on today's episode. And little confidence isn't bad, and it's not even something we eliminate when we're building big confidence. So I think that little confidence has its own strategic space in the process. So for example, if Amy has a big national competition coming up, it might be really smart for her to do a local competition in the days leading up to it just to get her confidence up, like to give her that boost. And so I think little confidence is something we can use smartly and strategically to fuel ourselves up and to take some of the intensity out of the process, right? Like we need space for easy wins. We need space to get filled up and have that like guaranteed quick win so that we can take that little victory with us and then go achieve a bigger victory. So little confidence is quite important. It's just not enough on its own, and it's important to recognize where it has limitations so that in your confidence building process, you're not unintentionally relying on a form of confidence that isn't going to help you achieve the goals you want and be the person who you want to be. This episode turned out longer than I thought. If you are here listening, oh my gosh, thank you for making it all the way to the end. And please message me to let me know what you thought about this episode. I'll put my Instagram handle in the show notes. It's at The Art of Speaking Up. And if you want to build big confidence, this is what I do. This is the work that I do as a coach. When I help my clients build confidence, I am guiding them step by step through my strategic process for building big confidence, because I know that it's that bigger confidence that is really going to help you endure professionally. It's going to help you not just be a voice in the room and not just land the promotion, but be able to handle the harder things that come with that, to really be able to expand into that new level of challenge because you have a level of confidence that is resilient and enduring and that isn't going to go away or disappear when things get hard. That is what fires me up. That is what I am all about. And if that is the type of confidence you want to build, you are going to love the Art of Speaking Up Academy, where I help you build that big confidence so that you can be a powerful, noticeable voice in the room. And I encourage you to join me in the next cohort. The absolute best way to do that is to add yourself to the waitlist. I will put the link in the show notes. Once you're on the waitlist, number one, you'll get an invite to enroll early. Some of the cohorts have been, once again, selling out before I have the chance to advertise them publicly. So make sure you're on the waitlist. That ensures that if a cohort is opening, you know about it 100%. And number two, when you're on the waitlist, you get exclusive waitlist-only program bonuses. I will put the waitlist link in the show notes. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll catch you in next week's episode. Bye!